For years, fans all over the world have wondered what really happened between Demet Özdemir and Yaman, two of Turkey's most magnetic stars, whose on-screen chemistry in Erkenci Kuş didn't just create a hit series, it created an emotional storm that still hasn't settled. Their connection felt too real, too intense, too emotional to be just acting. And yet, despite the undeniable electricity between them, both remained silent about what truly happened when the camera stopped rolling. Until now. In a recent interview that quickly went viral, Demet Özdemir finally broke that silence. With eyes that seemed to carry the weight of years of hidden emotions, she said one sentence that sent shockwaves across social media: "We had to hide it, and here's why." Those words opened the floodgates to a story no one had ever fully understood, a story of love, fear, and the heavy price of fame. At the height of Erkenci Kuş's success, Demet and Yaman were not just actors, they had become symbols of Turkish romantic drama itself. Every gesture, every glance, every Instagram story was analyzed, discussed, and turned into breaking news. But behind the lights and cameras, something fragile and real was growing, a connection that neither of them planned, but both of them felt. Demet described how that connection became both a blessing and a curse. "It was beautiful," she admitted softly, "but it was also dangerous. Because the moment we realized what was happening between us, we knew the world would not let us live it peacefully." There were nights when they would talk for hours after filming ended. They shared fears, dreams, and the quiet moments no one ever saw. But as their popularity grew, so did the pressure. Producers wanted to control the narrative. Gossip magazines twisted every smile into a scandal. Suddenly, even the simplest act, like walking out of a cafe together, turned into headline news. Demet said that was when they made a painful decision: to hide what they were feeling. Not because they were ashamed of it, but because they wanted to protect it. "Sometimes," she said, "you don't hide something because it's wrong, you hide it because it's too precious." The confession stunned everyone, not just because she finally acknowledged the emotional bond they had, but because it revealed how deep and complicated their reality truly was. For years, fans had seen fragments of the truth, a look here, a message there, but no one imagined the full story had been hidden with such care. And as Demet continued to speak, her voice began to tremble, not from regret, but from the weight of memories she could no longer keep buried. When Demet Özdemir opened up about the truth they had to hide, she didn't just reveal a secret, she reopened an old wound. The period she described wasn't just about fame, or headlines, or rumors. It was about the emotional chaos of trying to protect something fragile in a world that refused to let them breathe. Demet recalled the days when every set was filled with whispers. The crew could feel the tension between her and Yaman, that quiet electricity that could light up a room, but also cause fires they couldn't control. "Everyone noticed," Demet said. "Sometimes, even when we weren't speaking, the air around us said everything." In those moments, the boundary between fiction and reality began to blur. The romantic scenes they filmed felt too real, too close to what was happening inside their hearts. After each take, Demet often found herself unable to look directly at Yaman for a few seconds, because her emotions were no longer part of a script. She explained how they began to meet secretly, far from the chaos of Istanbul's cameras. There were quiet dinners in hidden places, stolen phone calls at midnight, and long conversations that always ended with the same sentence: "We can't let anyone know." That phrase became both a shield and a prison. Demet admitted that there were times she wanted to go public, to tell the world, "Yes, we're together. Yes, it's real." But every time she thought about it, fear stopped her. Fear of losing her career, fear of public judgment, and most of all, fear of losing him. "If we had told the truth," she said softly, "they would have destroyed us." Yaman, on his side, had already started facing the dark side of fame. The constant invasion of privacy, the exaggerated news, and the endless pressure of being labeled as Turkey's sex symbol made him more distant, more defensive. Demet noticed that he was changing, becoming harder, more closed off. But behind that strong image, there was a man trying to protect what little peace he had left. And that's when they made their most difficult choice: to love each other silently, behind locked doors, behind smiles that weren't always real. We had our world, Demet revealed, but it wasn't allowed to exist in theirs. She described one night in particular, a night when they both realized that what they shared might not survive the fame that had brought them together. After a long day of filming, they stayed behind on set. The lights were off, the camera stopped rolling, and yet they stood there, just looking at each other, two people trapped between love and fear. Ken took her hand and said, "Maybe someday, we'll be able to live this without hiding." Demet smiled sadly. "Or maybe someday," she whispered, "we'll look back and realize that hiding it was the only way to keep it alive." That moment became their silent promise, and their hidden truth. But as Demet continued her confession, she hinted that not everything stayed hidden forever. Something happened later, something that changed everything and forced their secret into the light. It was only a matter of time before the world noticed. Demet Özdemir and Yaman could hide their emotions from interviews, from cameras, even from their closest colleagues. But not from the public eye that watched their every move. One evening, during the final months of Erkenci Kuss, something happened that neither of them could control. A photo. Just one photograph. It wasn't taken by paparazzi, nor leaked by anyone on the set. It was snapped by a fan who happened to be in the right place at the wrong time, a quiet corner of a small restaurant, a late-night dinner, two familiar faces trying to act normal. Ken was laughing softly, Demet was looking at him with a warmth that no acting could fake. Within hours, the picture spread like wildfire. Social media exploded. Headlines screamed, "Are Ken and Demet secretly together? Love behind the cameras, the truth about the Erkenci Kuss stars." Demet remembered how terrified she was that night. "My phone wouldn't stop ringing," she said. Friends, journalists, even family. Everyone wanted to know the same thing, was it true? She called Ken. He didn't pick up the first few times. When he finally answered, his voice was calm but heavy. "Don't say anything," he told her. "Let them think whatever they want. The more we explain, the worse it will get." And so they stayed silent, but that silence only fueled the fire. The tabloids twisted every detail. A simple bracelet Demet wore became a gift from Ken. A line in an interview was turned into a secret message. And yet, through all the chaos, there was something else happening, the beginning of a crack in their secret world. Demet confessed that she started to feel the emotional weight of hiding everything. "When the truth becomes heavier than the lie, you start to lose yourself," she said. "I felt like I was living two lives, one for the cameras, and one for him." Ken, meanwhile, was struggling in his own way. His rising fame had turned into a cage. He was being followed everywhere, photographed even when he stepped outside his home. That pressure began to change him, he became more guarded, less trusting. Demet saw the difference. "He stopped laughing the same way," she said. "He was tired, not of me, but of pretending everything was fine." Then came the breaking point. During one promotional event in Italy, a journalist asked Ken about Demet, if there was ever something more between them. The crowd went silent, waiting for his answer. Ken smiled, hesitated for a moment, and simply said, "Some truths don't belong to the public." That one sentence, elegant, mysterious, and deeply emotional, reignited every rumor. Fans were convinced that he was protecting her. That behind his calm tone, there was love, regret, and the weight of everything left unsaid. Demet admitted that when she saw that clip later that night, she cried. Not because of what he said, but because she knew what it meant. He was still keeping their secret. Still protecting what they once had. He could have denied it, she whispered. But he didn't. That was his way of saying he still cared. It was the last time she heard him speak publicly in a way that hinted at their past. After that, things changed. The calls became fewer. The messages turned colder. Until one day, there was only silence. But as Demet revealed in her interview, that silence wasn't the end of the story, it was the beginning of something deeper. Because what happened next would test both of them in ways they never expected. After that silence, something inside Demet Özdemir broke, not in a dramatic, visible way, but quietly, like glass cracking beneath the surface. The world saw her smiling at red carpets, filming new projects, posing for glamorous photo shoots. But behind that smile was a woman trying to forget a story she was never allowed to live fully. "I had to move on," she confessed. "But you can't really move on from something that was never finished." Yaman had already left Turkey for a new chapter. Italy embraced him like a hero, the mysterious, passionate actor from Istanbul who captivated millions. Yet, success came with loneliness. He was surrounded by fame, lights, and admiration, but something was missing, something he had left behind. In her interview, Demet revealed that she used to watch his progress from afar. She saw him in Italian interviews, heard him talk about discipline, work, and growth, but never about love. Not once. And that silence hurt more than any word could. "He built walls around himself," she said. "And I respected them. Because I knew what those walls were made of: pain, disappointment, and maybe still, a bit of love." She remembered the last time they spoke, years ago, late at night, a short phone call filled with pauses. "We both knew it was goodbye," she said. "But we didn't say it. We just stopped talking." For a long time, Demet carried that silence as a weight she couldn't put down. Every time she was asked about him in interviews, she smiled politely and said, "We had a great time working together." But inside, there was more, a storm of memories she couldn't share. And then, one night, during the interview that changed everything, she finally said what fans had been waiting to hear for years: "Yes, we had something real. But we had to hide it, because the world wasn't ready for it." That confession broke the internet. Fans flooded social media with emotional posts, videos, and old clips of them together. Every glance, every touch suddenly carried new meaning. People rewatched her Kenzie cuss with different eyes, realizing that the love they saw on screen wasn't fiction at all. Demet's honesty wasn't just shocking, it was healing. She spoke not as a celebrity, but as a woman who had loved deeply, silently, and selflessly. "Sometimes love doesn't need to last forever to be true," she said. "Sometimes it's enough that it existed, even if the world never saw it." And what about Can? Did he ever respond to her confession? According to close sources, he didn't release any public statement. But something subtle happened. Days after the interview aired, fans noticed that he followed a song on his playlist, one with lyrics that said, "Some loves never die, they just learn to live in silence." For many, that was his answer. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, private, just like the love they once had. Demet ended her confession with a bittersweet smile. "Maybe we were never meant to be forever," she said. "But we were meant to find each other, to learn, to grow, and to remember. And that, for me, is enough." She paused for a moment, eyes glistening with unshed tears, then added softly, "I don't regret hiding it. I only regret that we had to." And with that, the mystery that had lingered for years finally found its truth. A love born on a film set. A secret carried through fame. A silence that spoke louder than any words. The story of Demet Özdemir and Yaman, a love that couldn't be lived openly, but will be remembered forever.